Good evening, visitors. Welcome to the Australian War Memorial's last post ceremony. My name is Chris Weidenbar, and joining us today from the Royal Australian Navy is leading seaman Bianca Lustuzzi. We are honoured to acknowledge Rear Admiral Viliame Naporto, Commander, Republic of Fiji Military Forces, Republic of Fiji, Air Chief Marshal Mark Binskin, Chief of Defence Force, and the accompanying delegations. We welcome the veterans who have served, those who are still serving, and the families that support them. We acknowledge the members of RSL and Services Clubs Association, RSL Victoria, and RSL Queensland who are watching the broadcast of this ceremony throughout Australia. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths will be laid at the base of the pool of reflection by visitors and students on behalf of the following schools. From Western Australia, Busselton Senior High School, West Busselton, Rehoboth Christian Secondary School, Kenwick. From New South Wales, Point Clare Public School, and from Queensland, 13 Army Cadet Unit, Toowoomba. Please stand and join in singing the National Anthem. Girls and boys, please be seated. The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through to the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where families and friends could mourn loved ones buried in faraway places. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed in the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit, in the heart of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight, we will read the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 102,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in war and on operations for more than a century. But first, we present a lament, Flowers of the Forest. Wreaths or floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the pool of reflection.
Today we remember and pay tribute to Flying Officer Ivan Boudinot. Ivan Sydney Boudinot was born on the 29th of October 1921 in Hamilton in Western Victoria, the son of Sydney and Ethel Boudinot. Little is known about Boudinot prior to his enlistment in the Royal Australian Air Force on the 10th of October 1941 at the age of 19. Following his enlistment in the RAF, Boudinot commenced training as a wireless operator and air gunner. After initial training in Australia, he embarked for overseas service. As part of the Empire Air Training Scheme, Boudinot was one of almost 27,500 RAF pilots, navigators, wireless operators, gunners and engineers who, throughout the course of the war, joined Royal Air Force squadrons or Australian squadrons based in Britain. After his arrival in Britain, Boudinot undertook further specialist training before being posted to Number 460 Squadron, Royal Australian Air Force. Number 460 Squadron would become the most highly decorated Australian squadron in Bomber Command and was a squadron that suffered the highest casualties. Flying twin-engine Vickers-Wellingtons medium bombers and then four-engine Avro Lancaster heavy bombers, the squadron lost over 1,000 men from Australia, Britain, Canada, New Zealand and South Africa. Almost 600 Australians from 460 Squadron are listed on the Roll of Honour. On the night of the 5th of March, 21 Lancasters from 460 Squadron were taking part in a large raid targeting the Industrial and Rail Centre of Schmitz, Germany. During this operation, the Lancaster in which Boudinot was the wireless operator and air gunner crashed near the small village of Fife, near Spangenberg in central Germany. The local mayor reported that the Lancaster had circled low with its engines on fire before crashing. Boudinot and all 7 of his crewmates were killed, including the Australian squadron leader John Holmes, Flight Sergeant Trevor Clark, Flying Officer Donald Hudspeth, Flight Lieutenant Thomas Morgan, and Warrant Officer Elwyn Main, the British Sergeant John Young and Sergeant Ralph Haywood from Newfoundland. The bodies of the crew were recovered and buried in the Fife churchyard. They were later reinterred, where they were buried side by side in the British and Commonwealth War Cemetery in Hanover, Germany. Ivan Boudinot was 23 years old. Upon his headstone reads the following epitaph, as chosen by his family. Golden memories will linger always of you, our son and brother. Ivan Boudinot is listed on the Roll of Honour to my left, among some 40,000 Australians who died while serving in the Second World War. This is but one of the many stories of service and sacrifice told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Flying Officer Ivan Sydney Boudinot, who gave his life for us, for our freedoms, and in the hope of a better world.
Please stand for the reading of the Ode and the sounding of the last post.
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them.
We will remember them.
lest we forget.
Lest we forget. We leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man lying out there at Pozieres or in the low scrub at Gallipoli, with his poor, tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain, has thought in his last moments, well, it's over. But in Australia, they'll be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the last post ceremony. We thank you for visiting the Australian War Memorial and wish you all a very good evening.